Very welcome back. Now, on Tuesday afternoon, Finance Minister Paschal Donohoe will present the 2019 budget, detailing the government's tax and spending plans for the year ahead.
But what will it actually mean for your wallet? With us to talk through what we can expect is financial advisor Paul Merriman of askpaul.ie. Good morning to you, Paul. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Paul.
So, in terms of money,
yes,
how much are we talking about that the government has to play around with?
Oh, there's actually been an extra billion found yesterday, so there's about 2.4 billion to play with. And that sounds like an awful lot of money, but we've an awful lot of people.
Okay.
So what I say about the budget is...
An awful lot of things to fix as well.
An awful lot of things to fix, Anna. Yeah, you're correct. And what I say about the budget is it's a bit ironic because it's politicians seem to be patting themselves on the back for giving us back our money that they've taken off us. So it'll be interesting to see what actually comes out. There's an awful lot in the press that we've just seen before it came on in relation to leaks from government, journalists taking their pick on things. Big ones that are here, I suppose, that the government is trying to source the housing problem. The biggest thing I can see there is the property. There's a bit of property tax relief for landlords. So they're going to get a relief of capital gains tax. Seemingly, again, we don't know. It's not confirmed. That means, if somebody is selling a rented property, they have to leave the property, you have to sell it without a tenant. We're never going to get a relief if you buy the property and you have the tenant in situ. So that's great news for everybody, because that should take a bit of relief off the housing and the rental problem that we have in the country.
So that keeps people in rental houses.
Keeps people in rental houses,
moving out and starting again.
Yeah, and again, it will get the excuse for landlords to get rid of them out of houses. That's not really going to be there now as well. So you should see a little bit more transparency in the rental market, which has to be a good thing considering where we are at the moment.
And what about the squeezed middle income earners?
The squeezed middle income. So the normal tax band, so when you go from 20% into 30%, that's set at 34,550 at the moment. And there's talk of that increasing by about €1,000. Now, look, what I'll say on this, I say to everybody, it's about €5 a week, average in office what people are looking at getting, at 240 quid a year. If that does happen, it's not enough to write home about, not an awful lot. It will matter to some people. I'm not trying to be anyway ignorant to those people. But ultimately, you have to look after your own house. You know I say this and I'm on air all the time. When the budget's up this week, get your own personal budget templates, get your own budget, your own house in order as the government are doing this, because you can't be just relying on the government to do it, because it's not enough. It's not going to be enough for people.
So you need to be more aware of your finances.
You need to be more aware of your own finances, and use this week when everyone's talking about budgets and budgets and budgets. Get your own house in order at the same time. Maybe start look at cutting your energy bills, remortgage, do all these things you know you can bring income in. Use this week as the week for your household.
Well, Tuesday might make everyone more mindful
exactly,
of their
finances. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It should make everybody more mindful. Yeah, it should do.
Can we talk about the USC? Cut for 1.2 million in the budget tax package.
Yeah, so the USC, looks like we're going to get it down as 4.75% for anyone earning between 19 and 75 grand. It's coming back to this middle income. They're going to reduce it by about...
Remind us of the window, 19,000 and
75, yeah. 75. So if it comes down... Or 70, sorry, if it comes down by 0.25%. So again, a little bit of a cut there. There was talk of the rate band going up, the 20% bracket going up, and not touching the USC.
Yeah.
Charlie Weston had the end yesterday that the USC now was going to be cut. So you're getting all mixed messages, you know.
But we were expecting it to be abolished.
Definitely won't be abolished. No, that's a long way away. Yeah, you know, so when these things come in, they're supposed to come in during austerity, but that's going to be around for a long time. It's a big revenue earner for the government, you know.
Of course it is.
Paul, what about tax and savings? Is that expected to fall? And if so, what's the thinking behind it?
Yes, so if you're saving in the bank, you're going to attract dirt rates. So if you have a deposit account, that's dirt tax, and that's 37%. That's supposed to be coming down. There's a big push from the life insurance industry. If you're in an investment account, you get taxed at 41% on your growth. Now, those accounts have performed phenomenally because the stock market's doing really well over recent months and years, actually. So that's where revenue are collecting off, and there's a big push on the revenue from the life companies to try and get the revenue to bring the 41% tax down in line with dirt. I don't think it's going to happen. There is thought of dirt tax coming down by 2%, which would be good. But look, if you're in a deposit account, you're earning pittance, like it's less than 0.5% in most banks.
But isn't this something we spoke about the last time you were in? We were talking about SSA schemes, how successful they were in the past, potentially they'd be rolled out again.
Yeah, we were. We was hoping that. Doesn't look like any more press has come out on that, unless there's a massive surprise. But it cost them millions, hundreds of millions to do that. But again, I think that might come out next year's budget realistically now as the economy does a little bit better. And interest rates are going to start increasing probably the end of 2019. So try and keep inflation at a cap. They might bring out that type of thing, the SSA next year. But it doesn't look. I'd actually tweeted and posted this on Facebook and everyone's getting quite excited. But there's been nothing in the press since, which is really bizarre.
What about the VAT, the hospitality?
Yeah,
9% likely to increase.
Yeah, 9% going up to 13, which is going to put a big... Again, we have this about Airbnb. So it looks like Airbnb are getting kicked out. They're going to have taxes on people using Airbnb, or a ban on people using Airbnb.
Regulated.
Now we're going to increase the VAT for the hospitalities. They're getting hammered all together, you know.
So this will obviously be passed on to the customer.
Yeah, be passed on to the consumer. Again, so somebody coming to Ireland can't stay in an Airbnb, and then when they go to the hotel, it's going to be an increased rate of VAT as well. So that'd be very interesting to see what happens from a tourism point of view, because we're thriving in that part. There's not enough hotel rooms. Everything's going well. I personally think they should have left it alone for a year or two. Are we
being a bit greedy on that front?
I do think so, yeah, I do think so. Especially when we're under the squeeze for corporation tax from internationally, like, you know. Yeah. I don't think it was something that needs to be done. I think there's other ways to raise revenue. We should be encouraging people to come into Ireland and encouraging that industry to thrive, you know.
We spoke earlier on and you mentioned the squeezed middle-income earners. With those in mind, articles appearing with great frequency about the cost of childcare. So you see the creche fees are extortionate, and you see that the staff there are being paid very small salaries, so they just don't correlate. And yet nothing, as far as we can see.
Nothing at all. I've seen nothing in childcare, which is such a shame, because that's what really matters to people, you know. And that's where, not getting into too much politics here, but that's where it seems a little bit of this connection between, again, revenue and government and what people are feeling on the ground. And like I said, it's a shame to see, because childcare would have been a big win. They're talking about this being an election budget. It is. You can see them in the press already having a pop, Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil, having a pop each other non-stop. Who brought this out? But nobody's actually taken it by the scruff of the neck and saying, this is really going to help people.
This is a second mortgage and then some.
Yeah, it is a second mortgage and then some. Yeah, it is, yeah.
It's disappointing not to see something there.
And on the mortgages, it looks like mortgage interest relief's coming back for almost 400,000 people, which would be great. They're going to look at people that bought in the height of the Celtic Tiger. So that would give about €700 a year at the moment back to those people, so that'd be great.
OK, so break that down for us. How will that work out?
So it's just a mortgage interest relief. It's being reintroduced. It was taken away. It's going to be tiered up to 100% of the interest. And again, it should put about 700 quid back into people's pockets that got it taken away during the recession or during the austerity measures, as they like to say.
So they're all small amounts.
They're all small amounts. I mean, look, to put this into context, anyone in the kind of 35 bracket that was just into the higher end of income tax, up to maybe 50,000, probably going to see about 30, 40 quid maybe over a month extra. But then carbon tax is going to come in, which is up 30 quid. You know, this was saying, so if they give and take a little bit. So
do you
make
think
sure you have
they'll give
your own
and take
house in
and
order.
there won't be a whole lot of difference to
Like they're talking about, like, so look at the USC, it's costing, like, the rate, the change in the lower rate of income tax is going to cost around 100 million. Like, that's just a blip of
Can
like
we
€5.
expect the alcohol and the fags and the usual
things are going to go
culprits?
hammer. He's going to take a little bit of money there to give it back in other ways. Social welfare is going out. The big one is that I'm delighted to see that self-employed people are now going to get the dole, which is a massive. I really hope this comes through. If this comes through, this is probably the best thing they've probably done, in my opinion, because there's over 250,000 people self-employed in this country, and they don't get any support for being out of work sick. And if you take a gamble, you're not getting paid if you lose a job or your business doesn't work out. And it will encourage more people. And we're a nation built on SMEs, you know.
So important.
Which is great.
Paul, thank you very much.
No problem.
Always.
Thank you, ladies.
See you soon.